Hi, my name is Angelica Medlin, and I am one of the Writing Center tutors in the Cal State Fullerton Writing Center. Today, we're going to be going over how to better analyze quotes, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show my little presentation. So why do we analyze quotes? There is a wide array of reasons why we do this, but here are some of the ones that come up a lot in discussion. We analyze quotes to better support our arguments. We analyze quotes to better understand other people's arguments, to learn critical thinking skills, to put information in our own words, to understand concepts and ideas better, to observe changes in data and research, to find meanings and patterns in information, and many, many more reasons. This is why it's so important to be able to analyze quotes when we're writing any kind of essay, definition essays, argumentative essays, compare and contrast, etc. So what information are we really looking for? We are looking for who said the quote, when the quote was said, what the quote means, why the quote was said, how it can be used in favor of your argument, and or how it can be used against your argument. And there are some key questions that we can ask in order to find these answers. First, who said it? We need to know who the authors are if there's more than one, so we can be able to cite that information later on and match it up to the authors. When was it said? So for a lot of research, the span of 5 to 10 years of an article was written within 5 to 10 years, that's relevant and usually updated information. That's what we're looking for. It does really depend, depending on your topic. Sometimes you will need articles that are written much farther back than that. So it really helps to be able to know what year was the article written, or the website or whatever you're looking at. So what year did it come from? What does it mean? So this is important for two reasons. We should be able to paraphrase and interpret our quotes so we can put them in our own words, and to be able to just better understand what is being said, what are the authors trying to say. Why was it said? This is very much based on context. Sometimes, or most of the time, we need to know the context or what the entire article was about and why the quote was in the article. Why did the author say what they said? We also want to know, can it be used in favor of your argument, and how? How does it support your claims? Or on the other hand, can it be used against your argument? And this is really a great question for counter arguments. How does it go against your claims? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over a few examples. So I have this little thesis set up already. It's kind of a fun one. Disclaimer, I love all animals. So this is just going to be for the sake of example. So my thesis is dogs are a better pet to have than cats. I have 3 quotes from 3 different sources picked out, and we're just going to go through the different questions so we can better analyze these quotes. So quote number 1, according to research by the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, 1 in 7 children aged between 6 and 19 are allergic to cats, double that of those allergic to dogs. And this comes from the article National Dog Day. So I'm going to pull up that article here. Perfect. And the first thing what we need to do is who said it. So who is the author? And it says it right here, Sophia Waterfield. When was it said is the important next one. And this was said August 26, 2019. We usually just need to know the year. So I'm going to stick 2019 right here. What does it mean? So I need to reinterpret this quote in my own words. So what it's telling me is that most children with allergies are allergic to cats. Most are not allergic to dogs. Why was it said? So I've already read the entire article, and this was an article that was about dogs being really well loved in homes and people wanting to have dogs, and kind of weighing in on the comparison between having a dog in the house and having a cat in the house and which one would be better. So why was it said? The article is comparing having cats or dogs as pets, and this tells us that children rather, are not allergic to dogs as often as cats. So these are the important ones down here. Can it be used in favor of my argument? If my argument is that dogs are a better animal to have than cats, then yes. How can it be used? This supports my claim that dogs are a better pet to have because children are less likely to be allergic to them. Can it be used against my argument? In this case, I would probably say no. And so we don't really need to do anything else with that one. So let's go ahead and move on to our next quote. 2. Owning a cat can actually reduce your chances of having a heart attack by 40%. So we're just going to go in order here. Who said it? This came from the article Cats Are Better. And this came from the author is Amelia Carpenter, and we have the date here to 2020. Amelia Carpenter. And this was a really recent article from 2020. What does it mean? Cats are great for not having heart attacks. It's a short quote, so there's not too much paraphrasing I can do with that. Why was it said? So this is an article that's a little bit more in favor of cats, and I already read through it, and it is about how cats are perceived or seen as not as great of an animal to have as dogs, but that's not truly the case. So why was it said? This is to show that cats are actually a great animal to have as a pet. Can it be used in favor of my argument? I would say no here because this is actually kind of going against what I'm arguing. If I'm arguing the dogs are better, this is saying the cats are better, so no. Now, can it be used against my argument? Yes, this supports that cats are actually a better animal to have because they can prevent disease. So that takes care of that quote. The last one is going to be a little bit more tricky. Number 3. Indeed, it appears that cats display more aggressive or antagonizing behaviors towards dogs and vice versa, injuring and threatening the dog, and the cats are less willing than dogs to share their bed and their food with other species. However, given that the issue of bed size was not addressed, the cat's lack of willingness to share their bed would not be overemphasized, or should not be overemphasized. Indeed, cat beds are often small. And this comes from the evaluation of the relationship, so I'm going to take a look at this one up here. This one has a few different authors, so I'm going to just copy and paste. When was it said? We're going to pull up the date. This comes from 2018. So it's still pretty relevant within the last 5 years or so. What does it mean? So this one's going to take a little bit more paraphrasing. So this one, it seems that cats are more or meaner to dogs than the other way around and do not like sharing their food or bed. However, there's a little bit of a second part to this. Cats usually have smaller beds and dogs cannot fit in those beds. Why was it said? So this article was a little bit longer. It was less about the whether dogs and cats are a better animal to have. It was more about different kinds of behaviors the dogs and cats display when they're living in a home. So why was it said? This was research done to observe the differences in dog and cat behavior when living in a home. Can it be used in favor of my argument? It can, because it still says the cats are more aggressive. So yes, because cats are more aggressive towards dogs in the home in general. But this one can also be used against my argument because it's saying that cats have a reason for being aggressive because they don't have as much space, they don't have as much food. So I'm also going to put yes here because cats have less space and food to share than dogs do. So we have both here. This can be used as both a counter argument and it can be used in favor of my argument. And that's about it. Those are the basic requirements and the information that we need when we are putting quotes in our essays. So I'm going to stop my screen share here. I hope this was helpful for all of you. If you need some help with introductions and conclusions, thesis statements, etc., there are some other videos up on the Writing Center website. So have a great rest of your school year. Be safe and goodbye, everyone.